So recently I made a video covering the June 2022 update and all the patch notes and everything that BHVR is covering, and I went over the killer perks very briefly, but I didn't really give my opinions on what I actually thought of these perks completely. And a lot of my stream actually wanted to know more in depth on what I thought about the 39 perks that are getting changed. So I've created a separate video in order to share with you guys my opinion on all 39 perks that are getting reworked. They're just choosing to remove the blood point bonus. This perk's going to be really good with Lethal Pursuer because they've changed nothing about BBQ and Chili. Every single time you hook a survivor, you see the auras of all the other survivors. Lethal Pursuer extended duration of every single hook aura by 2 seconds. That is huge, enormous for Huntress, massive for aura reading. Many people will cut this perk due to the blood point bonus, but many killers that can take advantage of auras will be nuts for that. Ruined, 200% extra regression to 100% extra regression, halving the speed. It's okay. I think it's only going to be really used on like M1 killers. There's probably definitely way more perks like that are way better. It will only like help killers that can like hold up pressure for a great deal amount of time. Like I guess like Legion. It is still a hex totem as well. I think it's going to be used a lot less. Goes the Weasel is going to be used like a lot less. It is not that good though, in my opinion. It's only going to be good on like killers that can traverse the map greatly, like Nurse, Hillbilly, Spirit, etc. Corrupted Dimension. At the start of the match, the 3 furthest generators are blocked for a while. Moving forward, this perk will deactivate once a survivor enters a dying state. So here's the thing. There are 7 generators that spawn in a match. If the survivors do 4 generators and the killer never downs anybody, are you being held hostage? Because if the killer never downs anybody, the last 3 generators that you can complete are blocked. Yeah, they better have a timer. Otherwise, the killer's going to hold the survivors hostage. So for killers that are really good at the game, like S tier killers, Nurse, Blight, Huntress is not S tier, but Trickster, killers that can down survivors really fast, Corrupted Dimension is going to be terrible. Moving forward, this perk will deactivate once the survivor enters the dying state. It's good. It's still good on Trapper and these setup killers that require time to make it so that it's Trapper friendly. I wonder if behavior is raising the time of this from 2 minutes to like 3 minutes or something. I don't know. 2 minutes is just like a weaker version of Corrupted Dimension, but still it's good. But it's mainly, this is designed mainly for weaker killers now. People who need setup time, setup killers, Hag, Trapper, blah, 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 blah. The Tinker can only be activated once per generator. The base amount of charges up to 90. This perk is still going to be great on Blight. You guys bet your ass it's going to be great on Blight. It's going to be great on Billy. It's going to be great on high mobility killers. It takes longer to get to the Tinker proc because the base charges is 90. I don't think that many people will cut it from their builds. This is amazing, even if it just procs once still. M1 killers will have to cut down on Tinker. People who have high mobility will get the most value out of this still. Hex, no one escapes death. So basically you can still one-shot down people. So the longer the match goes on, the more the survivors get detection on where this totem is. Generally, when someone sees no one escapes death, they get the fuck out of there. They're like, I'm not dealing with this shit. We are fucking dead. All right. Now the fact is that those survivors that like are selfish as fuck, they're gonna stay in the game and like, you know, maybe help the person on the hook more often, because there are people that are unaltruistic as fuck. This perk is still going to be really good and really well used by a lot of people, and I don't really think this is going to lower the usage rate for Noed. So at first everyone's going to keep using Noed, and then the usage rate's going to go down way down because people realize, oh damn, they're finding it more often. That's behavior's vision on making Noed used less. It's just not as consistent as it used to be. So Scourge Pain Hook Resonance usually pops the most progressed generator by 12.5 and regresses by 12.5. The survivors, it usually explodes and makes the survivors scream. They no longer scream anymore. This is going to be probably just like a massive nerf to like those high mobility killers. People that use it like Artist, Blight, Artist not really high mobility, Huntress. People who can take advantage of that scream and be like, oh, he screamed over there. I'm going to throw a hatchet in that direction. I'm going to go Blight. I'm going to go zoom, Nurse, Billy, okay? Pain Resonance is going to be worse for S tier killers, A tier killers. The versatility on, just because of how good it still is still going to be used on like M1 killers. The people who they don't want to use it, like good killers, will use it less. but the people that need it, kind of like M1 killers, will still keep using it. So you'll see this used a lot less on mobility killers, likely, because the jack of all trades, yeah, you get to know where the survivors are. People that just all run all out regression and like don't change with pain resonance, they may see themselves losing a couple more games because they don't get that detection, and they may use it less. This is the most controversial one with the community right now. Once activated, become immune to damage and dash a short distance. There are two main ways Dead Hard's used: to dodge a hit and to gain distance. In a lot of cases, not much a killer can do. Therefore, Dead Hard will now provide the endurance effect for 1 second. When activated, if you time it right, you'll prevent the hit and gain a movement speed boost. So some people are saying Dead Hard has been buffed. Yeah, if you can always time it right 100% of the time, it is basically a combination of Dead Hard and Sprint Burst in one perk. But you got to keep in mind, you have to time it in a 1 second window. So like, let's say you're running to a pallet, it hasn't been dropped, and you use Dead Hard. The killer can choose to not hit you, and you just waste Dead Hard. Or like, let's say you vault a window and you use Dead Hard, right? What if the killer chooses not to hit you and ignores you? Killers will adapt. That's the reason why it's not better. Like, it's just killers can adapt to the situation to choose to not hit you. They don't need to hit you most of the time. Auto Dead Hard, it's better. It's a buff on hackers. Okay, if someone's hacking, it's a buff for them. But if we assume that people are human and that like the AIs aren't taking over, it's not better because it's 10 times harder to use, and all the killer really needs to do is just let you get a window vault, let you drop a pallet. Yeah, that's just really it. You cannot even use Dead Hard for distance anymore. It's just 10 times harder to use. It's still a good perk, and it's probably only going to be used at high MMR. I would know because this is a very similar way to how I use Dead Hard. You have to predict when the killer's going to M1, and then use Dead Hard when you think they're on M1. They M1, bam, rewarded. Clap. I will use this because this will be fun. It'll be more fun to use. But it's definitely not stronger. So Decisive Strike will now deactivate when exit gates are powered. The stun duration has been reduced from 5 seconds to 3 seconds. And Decisive Strike will be cancelled with conspicuous actions. So they basically made Decisive Strike less versatile. In endgame, this will actually create a rise in endgame builds. It's actually huge that they can't just DS to get out. The majority of the time that people, in high MMR, any game, people usually save the Decisive Strike for endgame so that they can get a free out. When survivors are forced to only use their Dead Hard in early and mid game, that is enormous. Dead Hard is usually only good to try to get your ass out of the match to survive. But if you do it before all the generators are completed, you can still be killed. A huge thing is that like the stun duration is reduced by 2 seconds as well. That is enormous. Like the usage rate will be like 20% less, but it's still going to be decent. And Decisive Strike will be deactivated with conspicuous actions. Okay, a conspicuous action is repairing a generator, healing yourself or others, cleansing or blessing a totem, sabotaging a hook, unhooking others, or opening up an exit gate. Okay, so Behavior has added borrowed time as a 5-second base kit to all unhooks. Additionally, the survivor will gain a 7% haste effect for 5 seconds. Borrowed time will give you a 15-second borrowed time endurance effect, and it will give you a 15-second bonus movement speed duration. Borrowed time is going to be fucking nuts still. I don't know. I think that's going. Well, you 15 seconds endurance, 15 seconds of 7% sprinting away. That's really good. I think this is still going to be used a lot. Iron Will. From being 100% silent, now you're only 75% silent. Additionally, Iron Will will no longer be active when exhausted. So let's say you run Iron Will. Usually people use Iron Will where they get hit and then they hide from the killer so the killer can't find them. And the majority of people use Iron Will in a way to lose the killer. Behavior has made it so that you can't 100% lose the killer all the time because you're never 100% silent. The way people use Iron Will now is they get smacked, they run away to a house, and then they just sit in the corner and they just play with themselves. And then nothing gets done about them. Now they you can hear them no matter what, no matter where they go. So it's a lot weaker and it's fine. And a lot of people will hate this. Yeah. Self-care's heal speed is lowered to 35%, and the efficiency bonus has been removed entirely with medkits. I think this will still be a fine perk. Self-care is just really, all you really care about with self-care is just the ability to heal yourself without your teammates, without a medkit. And I think this will still be used at high MMR, especially in solo queue, but it's going to be used a lot less in mid and low MMR. People that are like super skilled at the game will still see the value and still keep using this. It's still fine. A great killer perk. It's a great killer perk, but in the hands of someone that has thousands and thousands and thousands of hours in the game, that is where self-care has its place in a high MMR survivor hands. It's not OP though. It's not OP, but that's where it shines. Spine will only activate if the killer has a clear line of sight on the survivor. Basically, if the killer is like in view of the survivor in any way or whatever. Next, we'll be adding a short lingering effect for the Spine Chill, 0.5 seconds. It'll prevent the perk icon from flickering and make the action speed boosts more consistent. Finally, they remove the vault speed bonus entirely because it does not suit the perk's nature. The usage for this perk will drastically decrease at high MMR because I use Spine Chill mainly for the vault speed, so I get hit less. So it's still going to be a great perk because the main way to win against a killer is to know when they're looking at you, know when they're coming. If you know when they're coming any way, shape, or form, you run early. You get the fuck out of there. You get out of dodge. And Spine Chill still has its place as the I'm going to run early and get to a safe zone perk. I still think it's going to be used a lot, but I feel like the community will overreact and be like, oh, not my vault build. Oh my god, they fucking butchered it. It's still going to be partly a core part of those builds because its role is to, tell you, hey, Dumbo, get to a safe zone. That's the role that this perk plays. It's still going to be that. Still a great perk, but the community will overreact 110% and say it's garbage. It's still good. Overcharge calls a kick to generator's regression speed to grow from 100 to 400, and over the course of 30 seconds, survivors will want to stop this generator from regressing as soon as possible. This perk will be amazing on high mobility killers. Billy, Nurse, Blight, people that move fast as fuck. You're going to regress a generator by 400%. Oh my god. This perk might actually become, I think we'll see a great deal of killers running this perk, and we might see this a fuckload at high MMR, but maybe that's just me. Stacks with Cola Brine, 500. Eruption, up the generator. Okay, I have no idea what this perk does. What the fuck does Eruption do? After kicking a generator, the ore is highlighted yellow. A survivor enters a dying state. Every affected generator explodes, losing 6% of progress. Preparing a generator, when it explodes, will scream and suffer from the incapacitated status effects. It has a cooldown for 30 seconds. Regression penalty from 6 to 10%. Okay, that's a 4% extra regression rate. And the duration incapacitated status effect to 25 seconds. You still need to like run around to kick generators just to get value. Like you need to run a marathon just to get value out of Eruption still. I don't think it's going to be used as much, just in my opinion. But it's better. Knockout will cause dying survivors to crawl 50% slower for 15 seconds and reduce the recovery speed by 25%. Survivors put in the dying state by basic attacks crawl 50% slower for 50 seconds. Basic attack. Knockout will cause dying survivors to crawl 50% slower for 15 seconds. So like, has behavior increased the effects to like hatchets, vomit, like knives? Is basic attack still? It just seems it's still. I feel like it's around the same as it was. I don't think it's going to up the rates of usage though as much. Very niche. Coulrophobia. Coulrophobia will now increase the speed of skill checks 50% on top of its current effects. I think this is going to do nothing. It's just if I go against someone with Coulrophobia, I'm like, yay! Survivor is more fun. The skill checks are more fun to hit. This doesn't affect me. This is going to be better at like a lower MMR, not like high MMR, mid MMR. I will love to go against Coulrophobia. That's a nice perk. Terrible still? Yeah, still bad. Dark Devotion. This perk is great for confusing sneaking up survivors. Dark Devotion will now activate whenever the obsession loses a health state. This is huge because Dark Devotion used to only affect people with a basic attack. Now, if I could cross map someone with a hatchet, I can give my terror radius to somebody 100 meters away. 200 goddamn meters away, 500 meters away, and I could just be like, she's the killer, I don't have the terrorists, and like it's great, really good, it's nice. Same for Trapper. If someone walks into a Trapper trap, they will be like, this guy's the killer, and they'll never save them from the trap, and they're gonna leave them their ass on the ground. They're like, oh fuck, I stepped into a trap. and then they'll have that terror radius, and then no one's gonna save their ass, and then you have iridescent stone, and then they bleed out. Dark Devotion's gonna be a fun perk though. Jolt allows the killer to regress journey simply by downing a survivor. Oh my god. We removed the cooldown. This is going to be huge for slugging killers. This is going to be insane on Nurse, insane on Blight. This is enormous. Like Jolt is going to be insane. You guys don't know what Jolt already does. Jolt regresses the generators. Survivors put in the dying state within a 32-meter radius immediately lose 8% of their progress. And it usually has a 40-second cooldown. Now it has a 0 cooldown. Which means down somebody, they get picked up. Down somebody again, camp their body. They get picked up. Down them again. Explosion, 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 explosion. And that's just nuts. Lethal Pursuer. So you like extends the duration of all orating effects for 2 seconds. This is insane because this is insane for Huntress. It stacks with Glowing Concoction. Glowing Concoction usually reveals them for 5 seconds. Now it reveals for 7 seconds. Darkness Revealed usually reveals for 5 seconds. Now it reveals for 7 seconds. BBQ Chili usually reveals for 4 seconds. Now it reveals for 6 seconds. That's huge. Or aura reading. Huge for Huntress. Huntress is the most played killer in Dead by Daylight. It's gonna be nuts on her. Scourge Hook, Gift of Pain. This perk shifts sacred numbers while increasing the action speed penalty to 16%. Okay. I don't. It used to be a 9% speed penalty. Now it's at 16% speed penalty. I mean, I guess that's pretty okay. Like it's an overall good perk. It's not like insane, but it's a good perk. I don't see it being that bad. Yeah, it's a nice slowdown. I think this could be like another Thanatophobia. We are increasing the action speed penalty from 20% to 22%. Just a little tiny buff to Thanatophobia. It's still going to be used by a fuck little legions, not incredibly as much though. Scourge Hook, Monstrous Shrine. So basically the basement hooks are now Scourge Hooks as well. Scourge Hooks will now grant a 20% faster entity progression, and only if the killer is not within 24 meters. This is going to be nuts. This is going to be nuts. Because this is going to be meta. The amount of games that I played that came down to the line where there's like 2 seconds from a survivor going to struggle. That's going to be nuts. Well, it's not going to be meta, but like it's going to be nuts. I don't know if I'll use it. Oh my god. Wow. There are so many times where a survivor like is about to go to struggle, but they just don't. When you run Monstrous Shrine, they will go to struggle. Easy camps, that on Nurse will make your choice. It'll be great on like people who can down people fast as fuck. Because if a killer starts like downing people fast and they combine slugging with downing people fast, those people on the Scourge Hooks won't be getting saved as fast, which means they'll die way quicker. This is a kill faster perk, which is nutty. That's a kill faster perk. Wait, that's huge. That's the build I run on Huntress. Kill faster. This is a perk that is kill faster. Huge. I think this will be overlooked by a lot of people, but it's gonna be nuts. So you can now open chests and cleanse totems silently. At a 30% reduced speed. This is just a nice survivor build that allows people to be silent and be undetected. I think this is not bad just for those people that don't like to be found. It's a different type of style that behavior is like pushing. But yeah, you can do more things as a stealthy gamer, more stealthily. Saboteur, this is a big one. Saboteurs can now identify Scourge Hooks. The auras are shown in yellow when a survivor is being carried. Saboteur will become the new object of obsession. If a Swift will have one person running Saboteur, and they'll be telling their friends in the call which hooks are Scourge Hooks. This is going to be meta as well. It's going to be really used a lot. I feel like it's definitely going to be used way more because it's the Scourge Hook counter, and it's really good in Swifts, and it lets you Sabo hooks. Hands down, just overall going to be used way more. Botany Knowledge now increases healing speed by 50%, up from 33%. Just like some number tweaking. It's fine. Those of you guys that like to use healing builds, yeah, basically there. This is the one that's controversial as fuck. Upon being unhooked, you gain the endurance status effect for 80 seconds. 80-second borrowed fucking time. 80-second borrowed fucking time. Dude, 80-second borrowed time. That is fucking nuts. Not as good as it sounds. Okay, here's the thing. I get unhooked, right? And my friends in the Swift like, the killer's chasing me. The killer's chasing me. You have 80-second borrowed time. Take a hit. Take a hit. This guy, he's gonna be chasing that killer's ass and being annoying as fuck. The body block. And then the killer's either gonna have to choose to slug him or pick them up, and they're gonna have like DS or something. This can be used super aggressively, and you just chase the killer. This is like, I'm gonna chase the killer, and I'm gonna be a butt. I'm gonna body block his ass, and there's nothing you can do. They should take a look at this one. Lucky break. Lucky break. You won't leave trails of blood or scratch marks for 60 seconds. Lucky break is still like one of the. It's underrated as fuck. I think it's an amazing perk alone. They buffed it. Now every single time you spend healing another survivor, it increases duration by 1 second. You can basically have the medic survivor, and you want your healing to be as slow as possible. So like you people that run Lucky Break will just run it alone. They don't really need Botany Knowledge or a med kit because they actually benefit from slower heal rates. Still good. It's underrated. You guys should probably use it more. It's nuts. I can't believe they buffed this though. Oh my god, they can't believe they buffed that one. But it's fine. You know, it's okay. Pharmacy guarantees a medkit the first time you search a chest. Now it guarantees a medkit every single time you find a chest. This is huge. This is huge. Because it's like a better self-care. It's basically like every single time I touch a chest, it turns to gold. 5 chests in the match, you find 5 individual medkits. Insane. Insane. Pharmacy is godlike. Godlike. This is gonna be more meta. It's gonna be meta as fuck. That's good. You run this with like Ace in the Hole with extra add-ons, you're gonna be solid. This is good. Loot goblins are gonna be happy. Soul Survivor will now increase your gen repair speed by 75%. Your exit hatch action speed by 50%. So, the gen repair speed doesn't really matter because it only activates when you're the last survivor. If the killer, usually the killer kicks the hatch, and then you know that's really your gen repair speed doesn't really matter. So that part of the perk don't mean nothing. The fact that you have a 50% extra gate opening speed, and like let's say you pair that with Wake Up, now you have a 75% extra opening speed, gate opening speed. Huge, actually big, and the killer is not getting your ass. If you run Soul Survivor and the exit gates are far apart, you don't get out, you're bad at the game. Soul Survivor is for those 1v1s. So the majority of the community will overlook this perk drastically. It basically guarantees you like a win in the 1v1 like killer 2 doors survivor versus killer situation. You better get out if you're running this perk. If the doors are far apart, this will be overlooked by the community drastically, and then it'll be like one of those hidden gems that people find and be like, "Oh shit, Soul Survivor's so good. It stacks with a Wake Up." Blah 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 blah. Distortion tokens gain 1 token for every 30 seconds spent within killer's radius. So distortion is it's probably going to be huge because we're going to see an increase in aura reading perks like Lethal Pursuer. The fact that you can regain your tokens is really nice, but like you kind of need to be a useless teammate in order to do it. Like you need to like hide in the killer's territories. I think it's okay. The buff is fine. We'll see a slight increase because of the increase of aura perks, but not really because of the buff. I feel like the fact that you can reload your auras tokens is just nice. In addition to lightweight's existing effects, your scratch marks will be more sporadic. Your scratch marks will fade for 5 seconds sooner in comparison to 3 seconds sooner. That is nuts. Lightweight is going to be insane. It's going to be not used as much, just like Lucky Break. It's going to be one of those hidden gems. Everyone's like, oh my god, lightweight's so good. No one's going to use it, but it's going to be amazing. And killers will hate going against it, and it's going to be good. Would pair really well with Iron Will and for those stealthy survivors. Everyone in the community will overlook this change and be like, oh, it's not that good. That's nice. Deja Vu now grants a 5% repair speed bonus to revealed generators and the 3 closest generators. So basically, Deja Vu will be amazing for those people who will to counter a 3-gen setup, I don't know if 5% repair speed extra bonus will actually be enough to warrant using it. If it was a 10% extra speed bonus, I'd see more people using it. I could see Swifts using this a little bit more in order to not get 3-gen setups. It's a decent generous perk. Yeah, it's pretty decent. It's basically a mini toolbox for 3 generators, guaranteed. It'll be like one of those hidden gems that work against high MMR, but won't be as crazy at low mid MMR, and everyone will overlook it. No One Left Behind grants a 7% movement speed bonus to any survivors you unhook. Additionally, the perk now activates when the gates are powered rather than opened. If this stacks with Hope, you're faster than 110 killers. You gotta also know that Behavior added a baseline 5-second 7 movement speed bonus, right? So basically, anyone that gets unhooked gets a total of 14% extra movement speed. This is good. Yeah, Behavior needs to take a look on stacking values of movement speed. Because if Hope stacks with the baseline and the baseline stacks with No One Left Behind, we're looking at a 121% movement speed survivor. You gotta zoom, and no one's gonna catch you. The meta may turn into a haste meta. By the way, I think a great deal of this will be like an off the record, like borrowed timey haste meta. Running away from the killer. We've changed the way Dark Sense works. When a generator's powered, Dark Sense activates. The next time the killer comes within 24 meters of you, their aura is revealed to you for 10 seconds. Then Dark Sense deactivates. This is basically one of the best killer tracking perks there are now. Because now you get to see the killer 5 times. You get to see the killer for 50 seconds of the match. That is enormous. That is enormous. Against Nurse, against Billy, against Huntress, against Trickster. This is good. The new Spine Chill? Yeah, this is like a new Spine Chill. I think it's really good. It's around like the same level of Spine Chill, because Spine Chill is always on all the time. Dark Sense only activates when a generator is completed, right? It's a certain nice, like a Kindred that reveals the killer. It's good. I think it'll be used as much as Kindred's used right now. Tenacity. Reduces your grunt's pain by 70% when in the dying state. Yeah, okay. If granted the killer hooks you, I think it won't be used as much because the prerequisite for Tenacity is still, yeah, he needs to pick you up. He needs to not slug you. It's okay. I don't think it's like crazy. Hope is great for those who like to make late game saves, but the limit duration causes it to expire at an inconvenient time. Since this perk was only useful at the end of the match, we removed the duration entirely. So, when all the gates are powered, you gain a permanent 7% extra speed bonus. That's fucking crazy. I used Hope for 7 months. It's fucking good. They buffed it. They buffed this perk. I don't think this needs a buff, but it's okay. It's fine. You know what? Whatever. I'll copium. I'll be fine. We'll all be fine. That's really good, and it's nuts. It's gonna be used at high MMR. Gonna make high MMR kind of harder. By the way, if Hope and No One Left Behind stacks, server will be 4.56. Dude, don't. And if you get unhooked, you also get another 7%, which also means you'll be moving at like 1.21. You'll move faster than a 4.6 killer. What the heck? Okay, let's not like talk to the therapist about like the dark voices that are talking in my head. Oh, that's not good. Overzealous. Cleansing a totem grants you repair speed bonus for 8%. Okay. It's like a toolbox. Nice. That bonus doubles if you cleanse a hex totem. I think it's still good. A 16% extra speed bonus to repairing, or an 8% extra speed bonus to repairing. If it doesn't stack, it's solid. It will pair really nicely with Prove Thyself. Oh, okay. Everyone's freaking out about this one. We're gonna live forever. We're removing the blood points bonus from We're gonna live forever. We don't want blood points to dictate which perks are used. We've cut the grind by 75%. We added matchmaking incentives. You guys are getting extra blood points. It should be fine. Additionally, actions that previously granted a token will now activate the perk's secondary effect. Whenever you perform a safe hook rescue, take a hit for a survivor, rescue a survivor by stunning them, or the killer with a pallet, rescue a survivor by blind the killer with a flashlight. Healing a survivor from the dying state grants them the endurance effect for 10 seconds. Then the secondary effect of Reworked Perks deactivates. It basically gives any survivor that you heal Soul Guard. And you have 100% extra healing speed. This is better than Soul Guard. It's really, I think it's good. and this is one of those perks that everyone's going to overlook and say like, oh, it's garbage now, they removed the blood points. It is great, better than Unbreakable. Also, it is so good. I don't know. I wonder if they'll tweak this one. I feel like this might be one they might tweak, but I feel like kind of nuts. You give everyone that you pick up Soul Guard. And yeah, as a disclaimer, behaviors like, we know all these changes are super volatile. We're going to be tracking to see what's changing. We're going to see if anything gets out of hand, and we'll act accordingly to make sure that nothing stays broken if it is broken. And that is all the perks. Holy fuck. We'll see what happens. And yeah, I think I don't know what's going to happen. It's going to be crazy though. Until the PTP.